Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on today's video. Today I thought we would talk a little bit about jewelry. So if you have been on my channel for a while, then you know I love my jewelry. I've got quite an extensive collection of really simple and beautiful pieces, and I love the fact that you can actually layer them to create completely different looks. When we are shopping in general, it is important to be intentional about our purchases, especially when we are shopping online. And I know you guys have already seen my how to make educated purchases online video, but this one is going to be specifically for jewelry because every industry has different components that we need to think about. So today's video is in collaboration with Linjer. They are a direct-to-consumer sustainable accessories brand founded in 2014 by Jennifer and Ramon, and they have really beautiful minimal designs. Linjer is actually a Norwegian word for the word line, and so that's pretty much what their pieces embody, the idea of really simplistic designs and things that can be worn together without looking overwhelming. So Linjer has kindly sent me some loaner pieces to share with you guys, and this is just to give you an idea of how I like to wear my jewelry. By all means, jewelry is very personal, so you can style it in any way that you want, but this is just the way that I like to wear my pieces together so that I've got a complete look without looking overwhelming. I will have all of these linked down below if you do want to take a look, and with that being said, let's get started. So for me, and I think in general for anybody, the very first thing that we should be considering before purchasing jewelry is the quality of the piece. Obviously, quality is going to determine how long that piece lasts and how it looks after a few wears as well. So one of the great things about Linjer is that they use only high quality and premium materials. So their gold vermeil in specific is of really high quality, meaning that it's going to last a much longer time than other jewelry from other, I guess, cheaper brands, I would say. So their gold vermeil is essentially a sterling silver, and it has a really thick layer of gold plating over top of it, which means that it's going to keep its shine, keep its luster, and that beautiful finish for a longer period of time. Two really interesting facts are that the gold vermeil collections or pieces from Linjer are actually 5 times thicker than the regular gold-plated pieces that you might see from other jewelry brands, and they are 100 times thicker than flash-plated jewelry that is often found in more cheaper brands and companies. However, you know, this just goes to show that Linjer realizes that quality in jewelry is very important, and that's what's going to keep a customer coming back, right? Like, you're not going to go and purchase from a jewelry brand if you found that their pieces are tarnishing right away. You know what I mean? So I really love that about Linjer, and you can just feel it, you can see it when you put on the pieces. I compared these to some of my, I guess, less quality pieces that I have in my collection, and I was just looking at the color of the gold plating and the gold vermeil, and I was just comparing the pieces, and these ones definitely look the most expensive and the most luxurious in my entire collection. So that also just goes to show, you know, how those differences in materials really affect the overall longevity of the piece and its appearance. Another factor to consider when you're shopping for jewelry is whether or not a brand is able to reuse old materials. So Linjer uses recycled materials wherever they can, so that means 100% recycled gold and silver, and this just means that their pieces are just more sustainable and working in that circular economy. Whenever we recycle and reuse materials that have already been used before, that is contributing to the circular economy where we are trying to prolong the life of those materials instead of just giving them to the landfills. Another factor to consider is the packaging of your pieces. Now, this is very important when you are just first figuring out where you want to buy your jewelry from. I know that a lot of younger people might be watching this video, and there are so many jewelry companies and brands out online, and they don't have very ethical practices. I want to say I have received jewelry that just is not okay to even wear because I'm concerned about the materials that they're made of. I'm concerned from the packaging that it's actually in when I receive the product. So little things like this make a difference in the quality of the piece, and I think the overall morale of the company, I would say. So Linjer actually uses recyclable materials in their packaging, and that also just goes to show that they're thinking about every component that is in the product that a customer receives. And so that's really great because then, you know, as consumers, we can be mindful of the fact that we should be recycling certain pieces, or, you know, reusing the little cloth bags to keep our jewelry pristine and, you know, in excellent condition. So the packaging is definitely another factor to consider when we're buying jewelry, and just keep an eye out for those companies that are, you know, doing direct shipping from a factory that doesn't even do, you know, quality packaging and boxes. If your jewelry is just arriving in a plain old plastic bag inside a cardboard box, that's a bit of a red flag. So just take note of that when you are buying your jewelry and when you're choosing what brands to purchase from. All right, now this is one of the bigger ones, and that has to do with carbon emissions. So when you are purchasing online, it's obvious that a package is being shipped to you from somewhere in the world. Obviously, some brands will tell you where that's actually coming from and others won't. But, you know, it's safe to say that there is some sort of carbon emission that is being emitted throughout that logistical network. And so when you are shopping online, you want to be considerate about how a brand is treating these carbon emissions. You know, are they just saying, oh, it's the cost of business, like it's fine, everybody else is doing it? Or are they actually taking the next step and figuring out how they can offset those carbon emissions? So this is something that Linjer is doing. They have partnered with carbonfund.org to offset 100% of the carbon emissions that are involved in any purchases from their Linjer web shop. And I think this is really amazing, especially the fact that it's 100%. So essentially how this works is when somebody makes a purchase online and a product is shipped to them, they actually evaluate the impact of carbon emissions that come from that one purchase and all of the logistical network things that are involved in it. I sound really stupid right now, but this is just how I understand it. So hopefully you do too. But essentially they evaluate how much carbon emissions are involved in that process, and then they 100% financially fund high quality carbon offsetting projects. Now, you can find more details on this on their website, and they are very transparent about it. They actually have an entire blog post that explains how this works, and you're able to go onto the carbonfund.org website and figure out exactly what projects are being funded and how these carbon emissions are actually evaluated. And the fantastic thing here is that it does not cost us as customers even another cent. So Linjer actually takes the full financial burden of offsetting those carbon emissions, and they understand that it is the price of doing business in a sustainable and ethical way, which I think is super key because most companies right now are not doing this, and it is something that, you know, companies that are established and actually have the funds to do so should be doing so. So I definitely recommend any, you know, clothing brand or online web shop owners that may be watching this to take a little look into the carbon emission offsetting projects and see if there is at least something small that you can be doing to further the sustainability of your company. So those are essentially the 4 main ways that we can shop more sustainably for our jewelry. I hope you guys found these helpful, and if you did, as always, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.